Hello everybody, welcome to A-Click Network. I'm Reload, and today we're going to look up at the matchup of TvP. TvP is a matchup that has been overlooked as a hard matchup for an extremely long time. The reason I say that is because TvZ has become such a difficult, hard matchup that people look away at this matchup as being difficult anymore, just because TvZ is just such a stressful time. So TvP basically, let's just pause it for a second. TvP past, I would say about 15 minutes is going to be when Protoss is going to be super powerful and you're going to be super weak. The reason I say that is just because of the way upgrades and timings work for each race. Early, they're gonna have warp gate and they're gonna be able to put on pressure. A little bit later, you're gonna have stim, combat shield +1, and medevacs. And then a little bit later, they're gonna have Colossus with range, storm, massive upgrades, and a third base, and then they win. The only way to really stop, so what I consider the best way to approach the matchup is to either overwhelm them early, at about 11 minutes with an extremely strong force, or overwhelm them early for not having warp gate early on. How do you do that? Well, you go 2 racks, no gas, expand. In order to build this racks, rally your 13th SCV to a place you consider hidden. If you're not really your 13th SCV. If you're gonna build it here, which is pretty obvious and it can be scouted pretty easily, rally your 13th SCV. If you want to build it somewhere sneakier where not many people scout, like here, after you can queue up your 14th SCV, like your 13th SCV is building, and you can queue up your 14th one, take an SCV and send it somewhere. The timing should line up perfectly. The only thing you have to be really careful about is not letting the probe scout the SCV coming home from this position. If this probe does do that, they'll probably suspect something weird. Also, always rally down here because you don't want them to know that you don't have an expansion up right now, because right now is a standard time to have an expo up. So you're gonna constantly make Marines and SCVs and supply depot. You're gonna make one more supply depot right here. There it is. And then you're gonna push out at about 30-ish supply. Now the probe did see that Marine, but I'm not terribly worried about that. I don't think he would have had the speed to see that, that Marine came from a funky place. So this guy's doing probably the best thing to counter this, which is only stalkers, no zealots, and to expand. It's really the best way to play against this, because of obvious reasons. Stalkers are good versus Marines and SCVs. At about 5 minutes, you're gonna push out, or basically when you're around 400 minerals, so you can take your expansion. You're going to take around 3 to 5 SCVs with you, depending on what you scout. I'm not going to go into that because I don't think that's very important right now. But you're going to push out with a handful of Marines and a good number of SCVs for tanking. I'm going to wait for these next 2 Marines to finish up, and then I'm going to go put them in a control group, and I just move across the map. Lucky for me, his stalkers did not see the push coming and got caught behind. If he did see this, he could have kited these Marines back forever, and my army would be significantly decreased. But instead, he gets caught behind. So why is this so strong? Look at warp gate. Almost done? Not yet. He's not going to be able to benefit from it at all. I know he's going to have to cancel that Nexus, so I'm not going to worry about damaging it, because it's going to be wasting time of his push when he's going to be getting warp gate up. So I go straight on in and make his stalkers come to me, and then I just let he pulls all of his probes, and I'm just like, okay, I'll just kill those. I killed 2 stalkers and 13 probes. That's pretty sick. He actually didn't cancel this, which is impressive. I thought for sure he would, but oh well. That's not too big of a loss because I killed so many probes. This is all he has right now, and that guy. So he really doesn't have much. If we look at the units, I'm in a pretty good position. I kind of failed, and I wasn't constantly making SCVs behind this. I didn't make that an orbital command. The important thing, though, is not what the push does, how much damage the push does, but what it allows you to do. as this push is happening, he can't be being greedy. He can't be getting a robo or anything. He's going to be making units to defend your push. Meanwhile, you're taking 2 gas geysers to tech super fast. As soon as you push out, you're going to do this in this order. CC, 2 gas, depot, racks. Saturate the gas geysers. There's no real need to look at this attack. You're just A moving. Then you're going to go get 2 tech labs on these racks, and as soon as it's finished, it's a reactor. This game in particular, for some reason, I didn't get the reactor until I pushed out for the second time, but that's not really that big of a deal. It's stylistic. So yeah, this push is going on. I should be getting these tech labs up. That was bad by me. I was focusing too much on the attack. So that made the whole push a little less more frightening because I wasn't macroing that well behind it. I put 2 in each in this gas because that's a mistake. Sometimes you can put 2 in each gas if you don't want to tech super fast. But I wanted to get a fast factory just because I like medevacs. This is optional, getting a bunker. If you see him cancel a Nexus, you should definitely get a bunker because he's probably going to try and all-in you because he's scared. I let his Nexus finish though, so this is actually pretty pointless because he can't really do nothing. He can't really do nothing. He can't really do anything with a Nexus and no money. So now I'm just getting stim, combat shield, or I should be getting combat shield, Marines and Marauders, making SCVs. I should be laying a factory down right now just because I have the money and the gas. That's kind of a mistake. You should be getting your factory and your engineering bay as soon as you can without cutting SCVs or units. So there's the factory. I should be getting the eBay any second now. The second push is usually going to be a stim and combat shield timing push. But sometimes if you see him going pure Zealot Sentry, you're going to want to wait for medevacs to pop out. Zealots and Sentries are great for stopping pushes because they're good at them, like, forcing them to come to you. Force fields are great for defending because you can lock in a big army and have the Zealots work away on them. But if you force the Zealots and Sentries to approach up this ramp, they're going to be so ineffective because only 3 Zealots will be able to get up at a time. And what are force fields going to do against going up a ramp? Absolutely nothing. So if you see a heavy Zealot Sentry composition like that, then wait for medevacs. If you see Stalkers and Immortals, push right away. I did forget combat shield here. That's a pretty big blunder. To make my push a little more powerful, I waited till my second push to add on the reactor just so I could get more Marines out in time. But behind this second push, you're going to be teching even more, getting your starport, your engineering bay, extra racks if you want, or you can take a third. It doesn't really matter. After the first push and the second push, it's pretty stylistic. You can do whatever you want. But as you can see, he's really had no time to get at the tech he wants, just because of all the focus I put on him to get into get into defending the attack. He couldn't tech at all because he had to focus on making units to defend my push. And he also lost probes, so that sucks for him. He went pretty greedy, and he went for Colossus super fast with 3 gateways, but you can see that he really couldn't have done much. And he just leaves the game. This second push hits extremely hard. There's almost no way to hold it off, just because he's not going to have much. The damage in this game comes not from the damage you actually do, but from what it limits the Protoss doing. If we speed up to the attack, let's just go to his vision, or his vision. So when I'm doing this push, what can he not be doing right now? Well, he can't be being greedy with his tech. He can't throw down a robotics facility or take a gas or anything. He can't be taking a fast third. Why? Well, because he has to focus on this push. He has to pull probes. He has to make units. He has to freak out. A great thing about this is it's psychological damage as well. He's going to be freaking out about how much stuff I have here. He might even think it's a Marina CV all in. A lot of people, if they lose to this push, they call it like, you newbie, why you cheese me, yo. It's actually not, because I'm expanding behind it, as we can see. So, he's going to be like, I have to survive this push. I can't make probes. I can't be teching. They're not going to be thinking like, as long as I'm making probes behind this, I'm good. That's where the most damage comes. Is they're not teching it. They're not taking gas. They're not taking fast thirds. They're not making probes. They're not making probes because they forget. Some good players will not forget, but most players will be like, look how long it takes him to start a probe. All the money he has, all the gas he has, look how long it takes. It takes him about 50 seconds to start probes, even though he has all the money to do so. That's where the power comes from. It comes from the freak out of the Protoss, and also the overreaction, where he focuses only on units, even though he can be making probes and teching. That's where the damage comes from. It comes from you teching super fast. I should have already had these up, but that's fine. You get that from just playing endless games, and it also comes from him not being able to tech at all. A normal Protoss might be starting their Robo Bay any second now, but this guy, he's not starting it for, let's see how long. He does not start his robotics facility. He does not start his robotics facility until, wait for it, 10 minutes. This is when people should have Colossus out with range and upgrades. He just started his. That's where your damage comes from, and that's why this push is so good. And if you can just keep hitting him hard and trading expensive units and probes for your kind of expendable units, like sentry. If he doesn't make sentries, he's going to lose. If you kill sentries with one push, he's going to have to remake them. If he doesn't, he loses. If he does, his tech's going to be delayed while your tech keeps growing. That's why this push is so strong. As long as you can understand where your power comes from, you're going to be able to make the best decisions you can and win the game super fast. As of right now, I have a 90% win rate versus Protoss. I hope this build helps you get to that kind of win rate as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you around.